It's Victory Monday, Celebration Monday, whatever you want to say. The Lions have now had 4 of these in the last 5 Mondays. So I'm going to make today's video fairly quick, but I do want to point out a couple things. The Silver Rush apparently is on the comeback. That's a 1970s term for the Detroit Lions pass rush. But anyways, let's get into that. Let's talk about a little bit of playoffs. J-Mo getting a few snaps here and there, and maybe just a little bit more. In today's Victory Monday, Lions Talk Live. Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host, once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for tuning in this Monday, the day after the Lions put a whooping on the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, with that being said, we got a lot of things to dive in, draft news, playoff possibilities. But I want to start off this show by saying this. Thank you all for your support. Thank you all for tuning in to Lions Talk Live. And just real quickly, if you haven't yet subscribed, please consider spending about 1.5 seconds hitting that subscribe button, the thumbs up button, the like button, whatever you want to call. And if you got any thoughts on videos you want us to run here on Lions Talk Live, go ahead and leave them in the comments section below. Now, let's get into today's video. I want to start off today's video by talking about something that really is catching my eyes. Can you name the top 2 rookies in all of the NFL in sacks? If you guess they're both Detroit Lions, you would be correct. That's right. Aiden Hutchinson now has 6 sacks. And number 2 in the whole league is James Houston. That's right. Despite only playing 17 total snaps, Houston is now number 2 in the whole NFL with 3 sacks. He's only 3 behind Hutchinson. And man, who would have guessed it? This late round pick picked up, seemingly just kind of a project. And obviously he didn't play a single snap throughout the whole rookie season of his until he got to the Buffalo Bills game. And just because of a couple opportunities with injuries, he happens to get in. I'm sure I'm not telling you guys something you don't already know. He had a great performance there, getting 2 sacks and 5 total snaps. And now, yesterday, we talked about it at Lions Talk Live. I put a couple posts out during the game. You could see him beating tackles regularly, just like he did against the Bills. The Jaguars were having a real hard time blocking this kid. The only time I thought they were effective blocking him is when he tried to go with a bull rush move. So now you, me, and everybody in between is going to be asking, why hasn't this kid been playing prior to this during the season? More importantly, why isn't he playing on first and second down? Well, my answer, at least the first and second down point, is simply this. He's not effective in run blocking and shedding. He's not effective in pass coverage. So it's really at this point in his development, and not saying he can't develop more, I hope he does. But at this point in his development, he's what I would say is a pass rush specialist. Somebody you can bring in on obvious passing downs or third down, whatever it may be, and he's going to be a problem. The problem is a problem, clearly 2 games in. But now let's get into some other Lions news. So I'm sure we're all scoreboard watching during the Lions game, and then afterwards, Lions currently have the number 4 pick in all the NFL draft. But let's also not forget, that's going to change a little bit when Chicago finally reaches their bye. Denver, if they lose out the rest of the way, that's actually going to push the Lions, the Rams pick that the Lions have. If the Rams lose out the rest of the way, to the number 3 pick because of strength of schedules. So a lot of things will obviously change in the next 5 games. But right now, as it's sitting, if Chicago just loses out and so does Denver, then the Lions are probably going to end up with the number 3 overall pick. We can all speculate what to do with it. I've made it vocal on my end. If we do end up with that, I wouldn't mind Anderson or Carter. I think both of those players would take the defense to yet another level forward. Now, let's talk a little bit about where the Lions are in the playoff race. Still, things can change, but while I still want to say I think it's going to be a long shot for us to get in, it's definitely possible. We had about as bad a situation unfold yesterday in the NFL as you could have hoped for if you're a Lions hopeful for the playoffs. Just about everybody we wanted to lose won, and then Washington and New York tied. So it'd be my anticipation. We've got 5 wins. We got 5 games left. If you lose one of them, maybe you get in. If you win all 5, you will get in. If you lose 2 of the remaining 5, we're just going to just miss it in my anticipation. Still, I'm going with 6 wins because that's been my prediction since the preseason. I'm going to stick with it until they prove me otherwise. But a win yesterday, especially in such dominant fashion, I mean, we all have to start saying this. Is there anybody in the NFL currently, the last 5 weeks, that is clearly better than Detroit? My answer right now is you're going to have a hard time finding somebody that is clearly better. I'm going to give the coaching staff a lot of props here. I thought they did an excellent job yesterday with Jameson Williams, just getting him a couple snaps here and there, just get his feet wet, get him, used to it, getting the jitters out of his system, all that stuff. Just like they did with Jerry Jacobs against Dallas, where they really only put him out there, I think, for 1 or 2 snaps. He came back from his ACL. They were just going to take their time easing him back into things. I think both him and Jeff Okudah, on a side note, had a very good game yesterday. Will Harris, I know the much maligned safety / corner, let's be fair, he did not play horribly yesterday. The whole defense as a whole is playing much better. But getting back to Williams, it's my anticipation probably next week you're going to see those snap counts go up to him, since he'll actually have a couple more practices in his system, get a little bit more camaraderie with the routes and golf, things of that set. You're probably going to look at 15 to 20 snaps for him. Could be wrong. We'll see. But, I would say it's going to be somewhere in that range. And then every week thereafter, probably see 5, 6, 7 snaps per week count go up. But for him to get snaps, though, somebody else has got to come off the field. Right now, Detroit's receivers are healthy. They're getting open. And consequently, Goff's looking much better. So what do you think of Jay Williams? What do you think of Houston? The only rookie that I thought we really didn't hear much from yesterday was Mitchell. And just, it is what it is. Some of the other tight ends on the team are playing well. Brock Wright is doing a great job. I will say this, since the Hockenson trade, has anybody really noticed that we don't have Hockenson out there? I'm going to say this, I think our run blocking looks much better. And, the production on the tight end position really isn't that dissimilar because we use receivers more. Yes, Hockenson had a monster game against Seattle, but that was also because you had receivers out or banged up and less effective. So I think Detroit's coaching staff clearly saying, Hockenson's a great player, but do we really want to pay him X amount when we're not going to get that kind of production out of him? I think ultimately that's what it comes down to. And they got a second-round pick that's going to be a lower second-rounder, but we currently are set up to have 5 of the top, I think it's 75 picks, right around there at least. So Detroit is going into the end of the season strong. Their draft pick from the Rams is looking strong, and the amount of free agency players are going to be able to target because the salary cap is in their favor. Detroit's really setting up for a couple-year run here. All right, well, I'll get out of your guys' hair. I hope you're all enjoying your Monday. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below. Again, I want to thank you all for tuning in to Lions Talk Live, and if you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and consider doing so and leaving a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Take care, enjoy your days, and we'll see you tomorrow on another Lions Talk Live.